hear that?
Super loud, yeah.
Okay. Everything's loud right now.
Let me check on Facebook.
I think we is live.
Yes, we are.
Hola. Welcome. Let me go ahead and start this up. I am joining you all from my office that is brand new. We did shipping container offices, and they're freaking sweet. John has seen them. But
They are awesome.
I'm coming to you live in our little box. Okay. Tagging everybody. I know everybody loves it when I tag them.
I think they like you better than me. At least they don't say anything to you. They tell me to stop.
Hey, excited for this one. This one will be short, sweet, simple, direct, to the point. We're going to give you guys some places to be able to like really hone in and find deals, and then we're going to really just go over our simple strategy of how we essentially buy these deals with none of our own money. And I know that always sounds like a freaking like it always sounds like a clickbait type of thing, but I mean, how many have we bought in the last like 3 months, John, with none of our own money?
19.
Yeah, exactly. So it works. It really works. And one thing that I'll preface it with is that the hardest part in buying a deal without any of your own money with a capital investor is the deal itself. Like money is actually the easiest part of the deal. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, there's so many people out there that just have money that they don't have the time to be able to put into these deals, and they just are looking for somebody to be able to help them to find a good deal. Once you find a good deal, the money's the easiest part to find. And so we've gone through a whole list of strategies of how to source deals. You guys saw us make calls. Today, we're going to give you a little bit more details as to where you can find additional deals. But then we're just going to walk you through, like, legitimately step by step, our process of how we bought 19 deals just in the last 3 months with none of our own money. Like how we sourced the deal, places. We've already gone over places we sourced them, but I think it's important for you guys to see this step by step. So we already got some people in here. Listen, if you're here, please, I want to see engagement. I want to see where you're coming from. Go ahead and drop a message below. I want to know what state you're watching from, how many properties you have. We're going to be going through our step-by-step process. And so if you guys have questions, feel free to make sure that you please ask them so that we can make sure we're talking about things that are relevant to you guys. John, did I miss anything?
No, I think you're good. I think we're good. I was looking for one of those ones you want to see. I found a sweet one from Glendale that we did a while ago with the putting green in the background.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll show that one here in a sec. I think a good place to start, and you tell me if I should change or if I'm missing anything, John, but I think a good place to start is I want to give you guys some real nuggets of where to find deals. We've obviously went through, and you guys have seen us like how to source deals in terms of we're going to we're going on Zillow. We did a whole training on that, how to seek for motivation, pick up the phone, call. But now I want to go over essentially like different community Facebook pages, legitimately just Facebook pages that you guys can find these deals that are available. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. Okay, how do I share my screen? How do I share? Present, share screen. Boom. Okay, so I'm right here in Facebook, okay? And legitimately, you can see you guys here on the left. I'm going to go through a few of these. These are just Utah's because Utah is my market, but you can always go to a market and look up X states, Utah, California, Arizona, Nevada, seller finance deals. And legitimately, you can just come on here and you're going to find people that are literally giving deals, like they're advertising seller finance deals, right? And a lot of the times what I'll do is on these, I'll come here, and if you search my name, like I actually get like insanely loud on these. Like I'll say, hey, looking for a seller finance deal. This was me. Like I'm currently looking for a primary residence for myself. I actually threw out a few offers the other day. But if you scroll down further, I'm always looking for buy boxes of deals. And like I'll give a specific criteria of what I'm looking for. And then oftentimes I'll have people, this one was funny, got a lot of engagement because at the end of it, I just said picture for attention, looking to pick out some deals like I am these flowers. I got a lot of people that like that one. But I legitimately had a handful of people that were like, hey, I got a deal. Like, hey, DM'd you. Hey, friend sent you a DM'd you. And these are people that are essentially DMing me based on the very specific criteria that I drew out for them. Like I was like, look, I'm looking for properties that are 4% down or less, or 10% down or less, 4% interest rates or less with a purchase price minimum. Like this right here is a very clear buy box. And me just posting about it got people to send me deals, right? And so your community Facebook pages are grossly undervalued and underutilized. And then the other big one, sorry, there's some construction going on. Hopefully you guys can't hear all these banging and stuff.
I think you're good now. It's not too bad.
Good. But the other one is this group right here. So Pace Morby, Creative Real Estate with Pace Morby. A lot of you guys like, and by the way, I'm not a Pace sub 2 leader in any way. I'm just a huge fan of his because he's taught me a lot. But this is his free community Facebook page. And if you go on here, there is hella deals, like a lot of deals of people being like, look, 4.125% desirable San Antonio, like cash required $25,000 to buy this house on a 4% interest rate. Right?
And I think what some people might think is that all these deals get swooped up in an instant. I think if they're like lightning in a bottle, maybe. But I really think that these Facebook pages have a lot more sellers than buyers, way more sellers than buyers. So wholesalers and people that are going out and finding deals and then posting them here, hoping someone will buy them, way more of that than the other side of us on there trying to buy homes. There's definitely buyers on there, but I think that the number of buyers is significantly less than the number of sellers that are posting on that page. So it's just like, I know I see those sometimes and I'm like, there's just no way I'm never going to get it in time. You just never know because I think there's a lot more sellers than buyers.
100%. And again, the one thing that I'll tell everybody too, right, is like, and I preach this, like you guys may have heard me say this if you guys follow me on Instagram, but deals are not found, they're created. And so like just finding the deal is not the end of it. You really have to get good at creating the deal by way of underwriting, identifying a deal in a good market, understanding your exit strategy, and then finding your capital partner, right? But we're giving you essentially the start of how to find deals, right? And this first one right here is just that, is you're just utilizing these Facebook pages to be able to find deals. You're utilizing Zillow with certain criteria searches to be able to know who to call on. You're utilizing all these resources to first find a potential deal. And then we're going to underwrite it. We're going to do the work to make sure that it is a deal because, again, deals are not found. They're created, at least good deals. So that right there, again, is just a quick little synopsis of how to find at least a potential deal and where to start, right? And so that right there is where I would say that is the first step to first buying your first deal with none of your own money. So did I miss anything? Is there anything you want to add to that, John? John, you're on mute, brother.
No, I think that's just a great resource that is on top of making all those calls. I think you're going to get the best deals from making calls yourself, but that's almost like a little cheat code to speed things up. And you can still negotiate further based on what's on those offers that you see on Facebook, but those are killer places to find deals way quicker than grinding on making the calls.
Absolutely. So let's kind of combine some of these things. We're going to step a few steps ahead because obviously you guys, if you have been following this, we've done multiple, we do these weekly. And so we've already gone through a handful of these prior trainings where we've taught you how to underwrite. We've taught you where to seek deals at. Today, we just gave you another resource of how to find deals. But the idea now then is you've identified a deal, you've underwrote the deal, which we did last week in terms of like, how's it going to perform? What do my numbers look like? And now is the part that I think a lot of you are here for, is how do we buy it then at this point with none of our own money, right? And so that's where this comes into play. So John, I'm going to let you take the reins from here. Do you want me to share this?
Which one? I don't know what you're gonna say. I'd upload a PDF for you there, or the
PDF.
Yeah. Boom. Cool. So this is, I gotta make this bigger so I can see it. This is a deal that we found. We got under contract. I'm pretty sure this one was brought to us by a wholesaler that brought us this deal, already negotiated with the seller on these terms. And so we now have a purchase price that we have a down payment that we need to raise money for. And we also are going to, it already looks like it's an existing Airbnb, but we always want to put a little bit more in there to raise the level of the game of the Airbnb. So what we do is we take a property like that we found, and then to not use our own money, we go out and we find a capital partner or a capital investor that has the cash to do this, but might not have the time that we do, might not have the experience or the expertise that we do in operating short-term rentals or negotiating and putting together real estate deals. So they come in and we are going to give them part of this deal for bringing in the money. So in essence, we have this deal, we're buying it. It says what, $685,000. We go out, we find an investor that's going to cover the down payment, any minor rehab, and then all of the design and decorations and furnishings that we would need for this property. We bring in that money, and for that, they're going to get cash flow. They're going to own a portion of the property, and a side benefit, they get tax benefits associated, because now there's also tax benefits associated with owning a short-term rental. And so, but just sticking to the cash flow and the equity side, why would they do that? One, like I said, they don't have the time. They're not the experts. So they bring in their money. We manage, we operate. You as the investor, you manage, you operate, and you get half or 40% or 80%, whatever you negotiate. When we first started, all of our deals were 50-50 or 60-40 or 40-60 because it was newer. We're going. As we've gone along, we split the deals 80-20, 80 in our favor of equity, 20 in theirs, and then we pay out cash flow. So that's because the number of deals we're doing, our level of expertise has risen, the deals we're finding, there's no way that these investors are finding on their own on the market. So as we've gone, we've moved the lever a little bit more in our favor on the equity side. We're still giving them a great return. And then there's obviously some tax benefits associated with it. So on like a deal like this, I can't slide, but you could see this is a house that we got under contract, $685,000, 4% interest on the interest payment. What we did is we went out and we raised $135,000 for this deal. So we found one investor, one partner comes in, and we're going to split the deal with them. In this case, we split was obviously heavily more in our favor on the equity side. On the cash flow side, the way we set it up is we pay them a preferred return. Another option to do that, instead of just paying them a set payment like we do, you can split cash flow. Like you can split profit and loss. So you run the property, you pay the cleaning fees, you pay utilities, you pay everything. What's left over, you split 50-50. So that's kind of like real high level basics of how we break down those deals. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What do you think I should dive deeper into on that? Because that's probably big picture of what we do. So like on a deal, so example, this is exactly how we break down one of our deals, right? Exactly. We get $135,000 from investor. We are going to pay them 8% return on their money, no matter how the property performs, because we're confident in our expertise and our underwriting that the property is going to cash flow. So we pay them an 8% return on their money monthly. We give them 20% equity at liquidity. So at the end of it, in this agreement, 7 years, we pay them back their full investment. We pay off the balloon payment, and the difference between that number, the sum of those two numbers, and the value of the property, they get a 20% payout on that equity. And then also, because they're now an owner in the property, there's ways to move them into what's called an active investor by material participation, so that we can get what's called a cost segregation, which really makes this to another level of investment and return, and take all of the depreciation from this property and assign it against active income, which if you're dealing with people that make in the top bracket 37%, and in California where I'm at, another 13% on top of that, literally half of that cost segregation they are going to save on their tax bill, which really, really increases the ROI on these investments. So really, to sum it up, what we do, we get the deal under contract. We are the experts. We're going to design it. We're going to operate it. We go find somebody that makes a lot of money as a doctor that doesn't have time to operate, doesn't want to learn about real estate in the sense of doing it themselves, but they want to invest in real estate. And we meet with them, and then we put together a plan like this that makes them money, helps us make money, and then goes on like that.
Love it, brother. And guys, this is, again, like, and I just want to speak to our experience, right? We've purchased literally in the last 12 months over $20 million of real estate utilizing this exact strategy. Like, it is not rocket science. Now, granted, the plan in which to execute is very simple. However, actually executing it isn't easy. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to underwrite these deals. You have to know how to operate them to make sure it makes sense for you and your capital partner. However, if you can do those things, which are all within arm's reach because you guys are part of this community and because you guys have access to people like us, like, you can actually go and execute this. I just find it ironic that there's people out there that think that this is, you know, unrealistic, or think that it, like, again, 4 or 5 years ago, I was just a property manager of my own property in Houston, Texas, like many of you watching this are right now. I was just owner operating one door, right? And then as I started to understand different things about my skill set, what we could do in the STR game, creative finance, and then essentially marrying those two, that is inevitably when it started to take off. And so this isn't rocket science. This is legitimately everything that we've been able to do. But one of the things that I would encourage all of you guys to do is, if you want to learn more, go ahead and reach out to us. Let us help you. Like this, it's just so funny to me that there's so many people that don't think that this stuff exists or that it's within their arm's reach, when in reality it's right in front of you. You just gotta remove mental barriers, really, is all it is. So, John, you got anything else?
No, I not too long ago, I'd say a couple of years ago, I was in complete denial that this stuff was possible. And I've purchased houses this way. We do it all the time as a company. I even bought a company this way, right? I bought a company that was literally no money out of my, like $546 out of my pocket using creative finance. And so it's not just these properties. I also was in that same boat. And then it's like, hey, you know what? Everyone's saying it can be done. I walked out. I made the calls just like we do every day. You make the calls and it's like, you just don't believe it. And then you're like, wait, that really is reality. It does happen. And it happens every day.
Keegan Lewis over here talking some head. Guys, I didn't even follow this page. I'm pretty sure talking absolute shit just by experience. This means getting me here. Been in here, STR since 09. Hey, and this is what I'm talking about, is stuff like this. Like, again, this is a mental barrier, and there may be some of you that are watching this and you might feel the same emotions as he does, but I'm telling you, the biggest obstacle to overcome the next step in your business is yourself, right? The moment you can tell yourself that stuff like this, you are worthy of like taking advantage of it and attacking it, the moment you're going to start leveling up in your business. And so, but again, like, it's so funny because we can share everything with you, but the reality of it, in my experience, is only 10% of you that see this video are actually going to even do steps to execute on this. And there's probably going to be even less of you in that minority that are actually going to like fail over and over and enough to learn enough to go and take the next step. But I'm here to tell you that, like, we're no different than you, and it works. If you just put your head down, if you just commit to the process, if you just keep going, it works. And that's how we've been able to buy 19 properties just in the last 3 months, right? And so this all is stuff that we ourselves have managed to be able to build our business with, and hopefully it's valuable to you guys. So, John, you got any final words? Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to reiterate so that people understand that deal that we showed, the one in Austin, that is a real deal that is in our portfolio that we closed. I think we closed that one in, I don't know, December. When's that email come out? Yeah, this one, because I just sent it to myself. But that was a real deal that we closed probably 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Like, with bringing an investor. How much money did you bring out of your pocket for this deal, Lame?
Zero
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah. So,
hey, Keegan, I'll make you a deal. I'll let you go stay at this property. Only caveat is you have to film the whole thing. So
there's a question here from Steve-O about, do we have any STRs in California? Yeah, we actually have 11 properties around the Lodi area. So south of Sacramento up in Northern California, ranging from a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, all the way up to 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath. So yep, have a few in California, but really trying to not do too much here anymore.
Okay, well, guys, I'm a man of my word. I wanted to keep this one short, simple, and sweet and to the point. Hey, legitimately, we just taught you guys a masterclass in 20 minutes of our process. Like, it is not rocket science. However, it's not easy to execute, and that's just that's the reality of anything that's worth something. But I'm telling you, these deals are within arm's reach. These capital investors are within arm's reach. I remember my very first capital partner came from one of my good friends' mother. Right. And she just had money sitting in a HELOC. She wanted to invest it. We moved the needle a little bit to make sure the cash flow would take care of her debt service. And we went and transacted a deal. And stuff like that is, people like that, they're within arm's reach around you. You just gotta ask the question. You gotta take the steps, right? And so my challenge to all of you watching this is go and do the things that we just told you. Like, really, in the last 2 months, all of the weekly trainings that we've done have essentially given you really gold nuggets of how to execute and go buy a deal with none of your own money. And again, the challenge is going to come to how many of you are actually going to put it to work. That's really where the money is made. So, John,
I don't know if we have any more huge nuggets. We literally gave away all the secret sauce that we have. I don't know what else to give away.
100%. And that's what's funny. Is this is it. This is it. It's not rocket science. Now, granted, there's a lot of little things along the way that people may have questions about, and those are things that we can answer for you if you guys just shoot us a DM. But for the most part, in terms of the concept and how to attack it, we've just essentially shared with you our gas. So, anything else, Johnny boy?
Nope, nothing from me.
Okay, well, appreciate you guys. We will see you guys again next week. If you guys have any other questions, if you guys want any access to any tools that we've mentioned, we have a calculator for you. We have a sales script, everything that you need to know. Let us know. DM us, me, myself, John, or Kyle, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you.